It's a MeatEater podcast.
Welcome to MeatEater Trivia. This is the only game show where conservation always wins. I'm your host, Spencer Neuharth, and today we're joined by Steve, Janis, Cal, Randall, Brody, and Seth. This is episode 1 of the 2024 MeatEater Trivia Championship. This year's championship is unlike any we've done before. There are no play-in games. Instead, we have the 6 players here who average the most points per game in 2024. This championship will span 3 episodes. Whoever has the most points after 30 questions will be declared the 2024 MeatEater Trivia Champion. So it's not clear.
How close was number 7?
Number 7.
To beating out.
Oh, so we Seth made the cut.
6.
He was the 6th person in the room, and then we had Nate, Corey, and Hansi.
So Seth's not just down here hanging out.
No, he's in the top 6.
I've earned it. Yeah, congratulations, Seth.
We talked about it before the mic. Seth could either be the small fish in the big pond, which is this, or he could be the big fish in the small pond, which is the jabronis pool. So He said he likes this. Why is that, Seth? Why do you like being the small fish in the big pond?
Because I have room to grow.
That's right. He's got room to
Well,
grow.
picture, how old are you?
33.
Picture when he's my age, he'll like be a trivia dominator because he's got
That's
all
right.
that years to absorb more shit.
He does. I don't know if we have 20 years of this show to go, but
So
who's
who's number
just like
7?
just like theoretically.
sure.
Who did Seth beat out?
He beat out Nate, who was 7th, Corey, who was 8th, and Hansi, who was 9th. So Seth just made the cut. The episodes matter then for the rest of the year, so keep that in mind when we're playing trivia.
And
You
he's-
want to make the cut for the championship.
He's
I've got a
written
little
his
problem,
name.
Nate.
He's
Sorry,
written
go
his
ahead.
name boldly.
That's what Spencer likes.
Good.
What's your problem with Nate?
So, you know how he like corrected me about that you can't say over. I don't know if you heard. Like you can't say over and out. Are you aware of this?
Okay.
You know everybody says over and out.
Some people have emailed me about this to the trivia inbox as well.
You
Go
can't
ahead.
say over and out.
Okay.
He told me about that.
Are you going to explain why?
Oh,
I don't know. I haven't
yeah.
heard.
If you're like,
I think you need to define though too.
Yeah.
Like there's a gajillion little kids running around with walkie-talkies, being like,
well,
"Over
it's people.
out."
It's people that watched all those '70s movies about truckers that say over and out. So on radio etiquette, when I say over, I'm saying I'm done talking. Go ahead. Right. Out is I'm gone, leaving the conversation. So over and out is you're saying I'm done talking. Go ahead. I'm gone. It's not a thing. You can't say over and out.
Oh.
As in, if they were to say something,
Yeah.
So
You're already gone.
how would you communicate that I am done talking
Out.
and I am leaving the conversation?
Out. It's not over to you. I mean, like, if let's say you're a weather guy and we're a news show and you're the weather guy, and I go over to you, Yanni, I wouldn't then cut your camera off.
All right, now throw it back to me, Steve.
What do you mean?
Say you do the thing, be like,
Oh, what our problem is?
no, just be like over. Well, you can tell the problem. Yeah, go
Hey, we
ahead.
still have a
Well, then he
problem.
also pointed out that a compliment sandwich is not named properly
Okay.
because the compliment is sitting between insults, and a ham sandwich, where does the ham sit?
Between the
Between
bread.
the bread.
Yeah, it's an insult sandwich.
Oh, okay.
And he was texting me the other day, and he was saying,
A third correction.
well, no, just like a little problem I have with him. He was texting me the other day, and he said something like, Roger. He said, like, Roger, comma, we'll see you then.
Okay.
He did that 2 weeks ago, and I made a joke, don't call me Roger. To which he didn't reply.
It's really funny.
He's never seen an airplane with
So
Leslie
he did it
Nielsen.
again.
Which is such a good
Again,
joke.
he said
Such a good
something
joke.
like, Raj sounds good.
Mm.
I texted him again, thinking he missed my joke the first time. And I said, don't call me Raj.
Still
Then
funny.
in person, he comes up to me and says, I see that you're doing a thing about this Roger thing. I'm not replying to it. I just don't think it's funny.
That's why Nate's
That was
not here
smart ass.
today.
I wish he was here and I would beat him.
I bet you would.
I like Nate. Nate really knows the way to Steve's heart.
He does?
Yeah, I feel like,
Oh.
you really appreciate people that come at you like Nate does.
Yeah, he introduced himself by correcting me about something.
Okay.
At the free table. I was at the free table.
Oh, were you giving or taking?
He just comes by and goes, no, he just told me something I did that was wrong.
Okay. Again. My goodness. It's quite the relationship you two have built.
And one last quick thing. There's a little tension. I didn't know this either. Did you know there's like a Marine Corps Army thing with him and Chili?
No, I
They
did not know
legit
that.
don't like each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Wow.
Well, I think Nate's an officer, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Lot of
that's-
tension.
Yeah, that's part of it.
And he's like clean cut, and Chili's kind of got the bad boy aesthetic going right now.
Yeah.
They're a natural foil.
There's
for
a
one
real
another.
swinging
Wow.
dick. There's a real swinging dick thing going
Has
on.
the tension, come out?
I don't
I think
know.
Steve's made the tension.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I bet we can make it.
This is wishful
I wonder if
thinking.
Alex has gotten involved because he's Marine Corps.
I'll have to ask.
All right, now you throw it back to me, Steve. Say.
Oh, over to you, Spencer.
There we go. All right, the entire championship
I'm
is
out.
sponsored by Athletic Brewing, who will be matching MeatEater's donation and sponsoring 3 Moneyball questions.
Throw it to me.
The win. What do you got? Okay, I'm gonna throw it to Steve real quick.
Up your mic.
Over to Steve. Perfect. All right, now you bring it back to me.
Well, I gotta say something.
Okay.
I like their chilada nada.
Uh huh.
It's like a michelada, whatever,
Yeah.
with no alcohol in it. That's my drink, dude.
Big fan.
That I don't have one in my hand right now, but that's my drink.
All right, over back to me. The winner will get to choose where the $3,000 donation goes, the biggest in MeatEater trivia history. And combined with the Moneyball questions, this year's championship has a donation potential of $4,500. Give it up for Athletic Brewing for their continued support of MeatEater trivia and conservation. Yeah, $3,000 donation with potential for $1,500 more.
Are you going to give the winner a T-shirt or anything? That
Well,
says
you get your name
champion?
on the plaque that we have outside of the studio here in our green room. It's got Brody's name on it. It's got Steve's name on it.
No one looks at that plaque.
We're going to add a third name.
They really don't.
You know what we should do? You know how like in memorial gardens and stuff like that around towns, you can like sponsor a bench and then put names on it.
Yeah.
That's what we should do.
A billboard, maybe. Let's go bigger than that. A whole billboard.
Oh, we have that one billboard.
We do
Maybe
have a
we can take it
billboard.
over for a while.
That's right. All right, for the stat of the week this week, we're looking at last year's performance in the MeatEater Trivia Tournament. Steve won, getting 16 of 20 questions correct.
Tough one.
Brody finished in second with 15 points, Randall in third with 13 points, Janis in fourth with 11 points, and Seth in fifth with 10 points. So that was what we're going off last year. Steve got 8 correct in each episode.
God, that was great.
Going with the proper name today, huh?
Oh, wow.
Gonna do a proper
Steven,
game.
he's put on his rifle. All right, for today's IFAQ, I want to address a previous IFAQ. Someone asked, what's the weirdest question I've ever gotten? To which I explained how strange it is that about 50 people have sent me faxes. Well, a dozen of you wrote in with the same explanation for why that might be. Apparently, the Amish and Mennonite communities use a service that converts a fax to an email. This is referred to as iFax, and it bridges the gap between those without internet and those with internet. Typically, it's used to conduct business, or in this case, send emails to a podcast. And that brings me to my next question, which is how are these folks listening to the podcast without internet? Well, there's a sneaky phone service out of Johnstown, Pennsylvania called the Podcast Reader. Here's what it sounds like when you call that hotline. Play the clip, Phil.
Welcome to the Podcast Reader. ABC News Press 1, Fox News 2, NPR 3, SRN 4, Ohio Ag Report 5, Replay Recording 6, Conference Line 7, Ag Commodities Pricing 9, Plain People in the News 11, The World and Everything in It 12, Ben Shapiro 13, NBC Nightly 14, Apasa Cafe 15, Chasing Giants 20, Osterholm Report 21, Z-Dog MD 22, Trim Healthy Mama 30, John Maxwell 52, Lumber Connection 53, Shed Geek 54, J. Scott Outdoors 55, Knock on Our Tree 56, MeatEater 57, Bear Grease 58.
Welcome to This Country Life. I'm your host, Brent Reeves.
That's what it sounds like if you call that hotline.
That's great.
And then hit 58 to listen to Bear Grease.
Can I tell you my favorite Clay Newcomb Amish story?
Yeah.
Clay used to own a magazine, Bear Hunting Magazine, and the magazine did really well with Amish hunters because it was a print magazine. So he had an Amish dude that did his distribution in his community. And one day Clay's trying to meet him to hand him the stack of magazines, and they're trying to coordinate a meetup along a highway. So he's meeting this Amish guy, and the Amish guy's got a driver that's driving him, and the guy's got a cell phone though. And Clay's like, "Okay, we're gonna meet at whatever exit." And the guy goes, "Clay, I'll meet you at the adult superstore."
Oh man. They didn't have that content available on
Clay
the
said,
hotline.
"Let's just meet across the road from there at the gas station."
Spencer, can I tell you my favorite facsimile story?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is years ago when I'm doing all things First Light, and we were in heavy in dealer sales. And when you're heavy in dealer sales and you're opening up new dealers, you get calls to establish credit all the time.
Okay.
Well, one of our retailers had used First Light as their credit reference to open up terms with a competing hunting clothing manufacturer, a big one.
Okay.
And
I'm not totally following. Explain this again.
So you're a hunting dealer, right?
Yeah.
Like the way a lot of these things work is you don't pay for the clothing as soon as it comes in. You get net terms.
Okay.
So you get 30 days upon receipt of the goods to pay. And ideally, in the retailer's world, you've sold enough of those goods to pay for that wholesale markup or a good portion of it in that time.
Yep.
Now, the bigger you are, the more terms, the more favorable terms that you can demand, you know, like 90 day, 120 day. But you got to start somewhere, and you do these like credit checks, right? So one of our dealers had used First Light as their reference.
Oh.
So a very large hunting clothing manufacturer, their credit department or accounting department called me. And they, in order to establish who we were, they said, "Yeah, do you know this dealer?" Like, "Yep, we work with them." "Okay, how much are they buying from you?" You know, and that's just like something that you don't reveal when you're competing businesses, right?
Okay.
And I was like, "I can't tell you that, but, you know, guy's a good guy." And they're like, "Well, that doesn't cut it." And they kept pressing and pressing and pressing. And then she became very demeaning. It was like, "Well, you guys must be so small and you don't know how business works." And and
Very charming.
And I was laughing to myself, but being polite. And eventually, after saying how we didn't know how things work and we were so small and all the things, she said, "Now, what's your fax number?" And I just thought it was so freaking funny. And I'm like, "Well, we do a lot through digital these days. This is just something us tiny folks do."
Did you have a fax machine on hand then?
We had kind of the same deal. Like you had a number that would convert the fax into an email.
Yep.
Yeah.
So besides the Ben Shapiro Show, the Trim Healthy Mama podcast, and Lumber Connections, the Amish have access to MeatEater and Bear Grease. Shout out to the folks who are listening to this exact episode via a hotline. I'm glad you're here, and keep faxing in those questions. All right, last thing before today, I want to hear some predictions on who is going to be the 2024 champion. Brody, what do you think?
No, I don't make those kind of predictions. That's, you know.
You got nothing.
No, I just want to know what Steve's drawing.
Steve,
right
what are you
here.
drawing, and who do you think is going to win?
Well, I made my name end in a fire-breathing dragon.
Oh, okay.
But I ran out of space, so he's kind of puking.
Oh, I like that a lot.
I think that
the defending champion.
like
here,
I'd
Steve
like to
Rinella.
win, but if I had to guess, I would guess that Randall will win.
Wow.
I don't know.
Now, you didn't play a lot in 2024. You think that's going to benefit you or hurt you?
No, hurt.
Hurt you.
Just
Okay.
yeah, a little rusty.
Cal, who do you think is going to win this year?
I'm going to go with Brody.
Wow. All right. Going back to the OG champion.
Did he play enough, though, to have like a minimum amount of games to qualify for this?
He's the last year's champion. He gets an
Yeah,
auto.
that's right.
Last
That's how it
year's
works at the
champion.
Masters.
Yeah,
You
that's
get
what I was going to say. There's something like that in golf.
You get an auto bid for eternity. Randall, who's going to win this year?
I said myself last year and I didn't. So I'm going to say Steve.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yanni, who's going to win?
I'm going Seth.
Well,
Yeah, right.
Seth, what do you got for us?
I'm going Seth too.
Okay, 2 votes for Seth.
Seth's
We don't
the
even
clear
need to
favorite.
Go with Seth too.
Yeah, all right. We got 3 votes for Seth. One final note about the tournament. I've had all these questions fact-checked by our very own Dr. Jordan Sillers. So I'm confident
got a doctorate
in their
too?
accuracy and that Steve won't have any complaints. That's right. He's our second doctor in the
I
office.
don't know if you heard, but it's not quite public yet.
What? You're a doctor? Okay.
Is this an honorary?
All right, the Shelby Index for today is a 4, so our winner should get 8 correct answers. And with that, we're on to round 1 of the championship. Play the drop, Phil.
I need to know what I stand to win. Everything. How's that?
You stand to win everything.
Game on, suckers!
Round 1.
Question 1. The topic is biology. This first grade question is via Mitchell Prusa, and this will be multiple choice. What do you got, Steve?
I always like to be able to look up there.
We
It's
should
gonna
have
be awkward if I'm staring at you the whole game,
we
bro.
shouldn't have sat you there, I guess. All right. What comes between class and family in taxonomic ranking? Is it order, genus, kingdom, or phylum? Topic is biology. What comes between class and family in taxonomic ranking? Is it order, genus, kingdom, or phylum?
All right, everybody ready?
I think the batch of questions we have are on the harder side. There'll definitely be some 100%ers. There might be some 0%ers.
Stop the game.
What's the
My
matter?
marker broke.
Okay,
Jeez.
we've got a backup marker available
good.
for you there. We're not going to derail the whole thing. What comes between class and family in taxonomic ranking? Order, genus, kingdom, or phylum?
Been a long time since high school biology.
I was gonna say, but the advantage of high school is you don't think about anything else. Your brain's so much clearer.
Yeah.
I was thinking
That's what they say about high school.
I need to tell my high schooler at
so
home.
much of the world. It's like girls and nothing else.
In taxonomic
Yeah,
rankings.
You know, my high schooler one day says, I'm gonna start doing good at school, and instantly started doing good at school. It was like, what was going on? Yeah, what was going on before he just made that decision?
Right. It wasn't
It was instant. Also, it's like all A's and B's. Just one day he's like, you know what?
He
I
was
respect
thinking
that.
about other stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Is
He just
everybody
had to
ready?
decide that he was gonna do good.
Go ahead and reveal your answers. We have Seth saying genus. Janis says genus. Randall says order. Cal, order. Steve, order. Brody, order. The correct answer is order. 4 of our 6
You know what,
players
Steve?
got that one
If
right.
you look at this the other way, it actually looks like a gobbler. Like there's his.
So how's it go?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a dragon with acid reflux. That's just how dragons burp.
The hierarchy is life, domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. Some examples of order are primates for humans, carnivora for coyotes, and galliforms for pheasants.
You know how I knew that?
How'd you know that?
They teach you this thing, King Philip, but I can't remember the rest.
Okay.
So I knew it went kingdom, phylum,
Uh-huh.
and then I knew what some of that stuff
Okay.
was, and yeah.
And he got it right. Question 2. The topic is cooking. What does MP stand for when listed as the cost of seafood or meat on a menu? What does MP stand for when listed as the
Randall,
cost
give me a new
of
marker, man.
seafood
This is
or
fun.
I got
meat
2 options for you there. There's a brown and a
on a
green.
menu? Our players all look confident this may be a 100%.
If you'd like to stick with red, I've got
Making
another
pasta.
red.
Making pasta? Oh, that's what MP stands for. Exactly.
That's what Seth probably wrote.
No, I put military and police.
What does MP stand for when
Member
listed
of
as the
Parliament?
cost of
Were you right?
seafood
Yeah,
or
that's right.
meat on a menu? Is everybody ready? Go ahead and reveal your answers. We have Seth and Janis and Randall and Cal and Steve and Brody saying market price. They got it. The correct answer is market price.
Would you accept it expensive?
No. Market price implies
good
that the
indicator.
listed item is subject to market fluctuations, with the cost changing on a daily basis. It's most commonly used with lobster, crab, oysters, salmon, tuna, and mushrooms. Besides accounting for price, the MP designation is meant to make it seem like the menu item is exclusive and seasonal.
The other day we ate our last chunk of king salmon, and my boy looked up the price of a pound of king salmon. He's like, "Man, we made money on that fish."
That's a good way to get rich.
You don't have to take it to do it because, like menus are so full of it when it comes to fish descriptions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, can you explain that to me? When you say that it's whatever.
Yeah.
Now,
Do you
servers
get
must love you.
Do you get a satisfying answer every time?
Never. We have, New Zealand or like Hawaiian. I'll text a friend like, are there blank in Hawaii? No. Are you sure that's what that is? Well, I'm not sure.
Let me ask the chef.
Question 3. The topic is hunting. These two words that are used to describe moon phases imply that the illuminated part is growing or shrinking.
You need both.
Both words. These two words that are used to describe moon phases imply that the illuminated part is growing or shrinking. Some optimistic players again, except for maybe Steve.
Well, give me a minute.
Okay, we're
I know
going
what
to give
it
him a
is.
minute. This is question 3. The topic is hunting. These two words that are used to describe moon phases imply that the illuminated part is growing or shrinking. Seth, do you have this one right?
I think so.
Steve, do you have this one right?
Yeah, buddy.
Is everybody ready?
Oh, yep.
Go ahead and reveal your answers. We have Seth saying waxing and waning, Janis and Randall, and Cal and Steve and Brody with the same answer. The correct answer is waning and waxing. A waning moon is one that is growing, while a waxing moon is one that is shrinking. You can tell if a moon is waning or waxing by looking at what side is illuminated.
No.
What do you got?
Waning. Isn't that shrinking?
Yes.
Oh, I'm
Yes.
sorry. I had it backwards. Good catch, Steve. I didn't have Dr. Jordan Sillers fact check my,
Put me down for that.
flavor text.
Which one's better for killing a whitetail, Giannis?
I don't know.
You can
Shrink.
tell. You
Follow
can
it.
tell if a moon is waning or waxing by looking at what side is illuminated. In the northern hemisphere, if the right side is illuminated, then the moon is waning or growing, and if the left side is illuminated,
Stop saying
No.
that.
yeah, you're right. I wrote this whole thing wrong.
We get it. We get it.
It's like
Yeah.
Japanese script. You
Sure.
read Japanese script backward.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the
Unless you're Japanese.
If
It's the first thing they teach in school. Listen, kids, we do it backwards.
I don't trust any of my flavor text for this one, so I'm just going to tell you to go read the Wired to Hunt article on the MeatEater.com called New Research Confirms the Moon Doesn't Affect Deer Movement. Question 4, the topic is fishing.
But Mark believes that it does.
No, I've been in touch with him recently about it because we're getting ready to have Dr. Bronson Strickland on, and
Has he conceded?
He described himself as moon curious.
Future MeatEater episode. Question 4. The topic is fishing. This is our listener question of the week, which was won by Charlie Cuber for sending this great question. Charlie is going to get a board game signed by the crew. If you want a chance to win the listener question of the week, then send your question to trivia@themeateater.com. Merriam-Webster defines this 11-letter word as, quote, an expanse of water with many scattered islands. Merriam-Webster defines this 11-letter word as an expanse of water with many scattered islands. This is question 4. Randall, you have this one right?
I do. I hope so.
Okay. Steve looks confident.
Been
as
reading
well.
a lot about the war in the Pacific, so
Shut up.
islands.
Yeah, that's
That's
too
not a
much
that's not a
there.
stretch.
Okay.
I don't like any kind of that chit-chatty clue given.
Brody, do you have this
We've
one?
all
right?
got a lot more comfortable with that in your absence.
I got a tidbit for you when you're ready.
I'm ready.
What do you call them?
Flavor text.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Oh, I'm not going to give it now.
Oh, it's about this question you're saying. Okay. Yanni, you have this one right?
I came up with an 11-letter word, but I'm not sure about my spelling.
Okay.
There ain't too many 11-letter words, I bet.
11-letter word. It's defined as an expanse of water with many scattered islands. Cal and Seth do not have an answer quite yet.
Come on, Seth. I bet on you.
I know as soon as I hear it, I'm going to be pissed, but
Cal,
I can't
how you
think of
doing down
anything.
there?
Keep thinking. Just keep thinking.
Okay.
You know, back to the moon thing and bringing it around to Clay. Clay and I had a long conversation the other day about scent control.
Does he believe in the moon?
Nope, doesn't believe in the moon for deer.
Yeah.
But he grew up with his father was ardently into scent control. Like to the point where he thinks it drove his two brothers away from deer hunting.
Like eating apples up in the tree and stuff like that.
I don't know about, I think more about the clothing and doing all that. But now Clay thinks that it's just like you just believe it to believe it. Right? Like it's a bunch of hooey.
I mean, like the wind is scent control and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I see on Instagram yesterday that Clay can walk around with two coat hangers and find water.
Yeah, but witching is real.
He said it's science.
Dude, I've spent more time with him on those wires. It's not real.
I know.
I've done it with them.
It's just people are so interesting that you can so clearly say that
in any
scent
kind
control.
in any kind of like controlled circumstance, they can't do better than random.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I've done it, dude, and it messes with your head.
We wrote about it in the kids' book, Crayfish.
I've gone out with him with the wires. It messes with your head.
Is it supposed to be like a divining rod or
Yeah,
what?
Yeah,
yeah.
witching sticks.
He doesn't like to call it a witching rod because it's like makes it seem a little.
Cal, do you have an
Cal's doing
answer?
the wrap it up.
I can't think.
Go ahead
sorry.
and reveal your answers. We have Seth and Cal without an answer. Then we have Janis, Randall, Steve, and Brody saying archipelago.
Yeah,
They got
I
it.
wouldn't have gotten that.
The correct
Is that how you
answer.
pronounce it?
Archipelago.
Archipelago.
That's what I said.
Archipelago. Some examples of archipelagos are the Florida Keys, Hawaii, and the Virgin Islands. Most archipelagos are formed by volcanoes, glaciers, or erosion. These island chains are often rich with life that's unique to what's found on the mainland.
And the Aleutians.
Yeah, that's what my
Plenty
tidbit's
of them.
about.
I named all of those.
What do you got, Steve?
The Ring of Fire.
In John McPhee's Pulitzer Prize winning Annals of the Former World, he explains that in 80 million years, Japan will have accreted the Aleutian archipelago and docked it up against Alaska. Isn't that wild?
That's how time
Go on.
works. Question 5.
Excited to see that.
The topic is conservation.
Cal wants to be there when it hits.
That's going to be all over Instagram.
The Greater Wynwood Exotic Animal Park, which was the focus of the Tiger King documentary, was located in this state.
Oh, buddy, I don't know.
Question 5. The topic is conservation. The Greater Wynwood Exotic Animal Park, which was the focus of the Tiger King documentary, was located in this state.
This is one of those questions that really wanders outside the boundaries.
I don't know what the hell. I don't watch that.
I'll tell you in the flavor text why it's so relevant.
I don't really care.
The Greater Wynwood Exotic Animal Park, which was the focus of the Tiger King documentary, was located in this state. Who hasn't seen Tiger King in here? Steve, Steve, Brody, and Cal have not
I
seen
recorded a
Tiger
podcast with Seth about Tiger King. You I remember know. that, Seth?
Oh,
Be honest, you've seen it?
But I still don't remember.
you need to tell me what state that Greater Wynwood Exotic Animal Park was located in.
There's several states that allow for this type of stuff to happen.
Okay. You got to narrow down to a few?
Yeah.
What's amazing is that gal,
Carol Baskin?
Yeah.
Oh, Cal knows her, but he hasn't seen the show.
Well, she's real involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jackassery.
Anti-hunting.
Is everybody ready? Cal, you ready? Go ahead and reveal your answers. We have Seth saying Oklahoma. Janis says Florida. Randall says Oklahoma. Cal, Oklahoma. Steve, Texas. Brody, Texas. The correct answer is Oklahoma.
Whoa.
Cal,
Yeah,
Randall,
perfect
and
game.
Seth got that one right.
Who else? Who is anybody here got a perfect?
We'll find out here after this. This is question 5. Joe Exotic owned the zoo for 17 years. It was purchased by Jeff Lowe in 2016. Then a court ordered that it be given to Carol Baskin in 2020. She has since sold the property. Joe Exotic is currently serving a 21-year sentence for 1 count of murder for hire, 8 counts of Lacey Act violations, and 9 counts of Endangered Species Act violations.
So he didn't get his pardon.
He has not gotten his pardon
Yeah.
yet, but he sure works on Trump for that. He leans on
Really?
it pretty hard.
He had a
Dude,
pretty,
I think that the presidential pardon was such a mistake, and it's a national disgrace. Now I'm talking everyone, everyone. Rarely does someone get pardoned. I'm like, oh, cool.
Joe Exotic fall under that.
If they could get
What
that
was
is
the
one
country
area
music
of-
star that Reagan?
I would love to have the presidential pardon go away. It is just a national embarrassment.
Reagan pardoned a country music star, like basically based off of fandom and the lyrics. But his the type of person that was like a walking serial killer. Yeah, and it was like, well, people seem to love the music.
So Brody, Joe Exotic had 17 violations.
I got you. I just didn't like it because I don't know it.
Phil, we're halfway through round 1. Give us a scoreboard update.
Here's where it stands, gents. We've got Seth and Janis tied up with 3 points. Cal, Steve, and Brody all have 4 points apiece. And Randall Williams is in first place with a perfect game and 5 points.
This weighs heavily on me.
I'd probably be doing better too if I just sat around watching TV all day.
It was on the Cocaines and Rhinestones podcast.
I'll look it up after the game. Sorry, I'm a little busy.
Are you dialing into the podcast hotline, Cal?
Oh yeah, man! If you guys haven't listened to Cocaine and Rhinestones, I mean, it is a fantastic.
I didn't hear that one on the Amish
Just
hotline.
the title.
Yeah, it's great. It's David Allan Coe's kid.
Oh.
Question 6. The topic is natural history. Daniel Freeman was the first to take advantage of this law, which was signed by Abe Lincoln to give public land to private citizens. Brody and Randall already have their answer for question 6. Daniel Freeman was the first to take advantage of this law, which was signed by Abe Lincoln to give public land to private citizens. Steve with a loud answer over there. Now you're giving a hint to your competitors about how much writing you're doing there.
It says Reagan pardoned Merle Haggard.
There you go.
Well,
It wasn't Merle.
I actually agree with that.
It wasn't Merle. Maybe I had that screwed up with somebody else.
That's the only time I've ever been like, oh, good.
Please don't think that I was talking about Merle Haggard, folks.
I want to go on the record that that's the one time I've been like, oh, that's a good idea.
Daniel Freeman was the first to take advantage of this law, which was signed by Abe Lincoln to give public land to private citizens.
I mean, what kind of weird authority? Oh, sorry. Not this. If it went to the Supreme Court, if each case in the vote, and you had to get a majority vote from the Supreme Court after being nominated by the president, I could get on board. But just give someone unilateral, on the way out the door.
Sure.
Unilateral, oh, sure, let him go.
Or on the way in the door.
Yeah, on the way in the door. It's just
Especially
it's
the
a national embarrassment.
Or on the door you're going to walk
Oh
through
yeah,
in the
and it'd be
future.
like, oh, I don't know, maybe he did something wrong. If he did, he's pardoned.
It's kind of like the Super Bowl halftime show of presidential administrations. Just like this weird novelty that you know is going to pop up. I wonder who's going to get it this year.
Yeah,
Is everybody ready? Go ahead and reveal your answers. We have Seth and Janis and Randall and Cal and Steve and Brody saying the Homestead Act. They got it. The correct answer.
But this isn't the Homestead Act that everybody thinks about, though.
What's your problem, Steve?
He wrote Homestead.
So did you. Look at yours.
No. He didn't write. I was just saving time. He didn't write act.
Yep. The Homestead Act was created in 1862. It allowed any citizen who had never taken up arms against the U.S. government to claim 160 acres of public property. In return, that person had to live on the property, build a home, and farm the land for 5 years. About 270 million acres, or 10% of the United States, was claimed under the Homestead Act.
Was it a per person or per family thing?
I think you had to be over 21 years old. So that probably cut off from,
Everybody had a family at 21.
We got a new one. We got a new one just introduced in the Montana legislature.
Yeah, which is
selling off state parcels under 100 acres.
Yep, only available to folks who've been in the state for 10 years.
Oh.
Yep, and the maximum acreage is 5. So, kind of a funny one.
You cheering for that one?
No.
Question 7.
Sounds like a lot of pheasant hunting spots going.
Yeah, exactly.
Question 7.
Shit on
the topic
acres of state.
is conservation. This is the Athletic Brewing Moneyball question of the week for every correct answer provided. Athletic Brewing is going to make a $100 donation that's capped at $500. This week, Athletic Brewing is giving to the National Wild Turkey Federation. Here is your Moneyball question. What federal agency directly manages national grasslands? This is question 7. The topic is conservation. What federal agency directly manages national grasslands? And this is our Moneyball question. So for every correct answer, capped at 5 correct answers, we're making a $500 donation to Athletic Brewing. Excuse me, via Athletic Brewing to NWTF.
I wish I had some Athletic Brewing to celebrate this Moneyball question, but it's just so darn good. I drank it all already.
We can get you another one after this.
Perfect.
Do you have this one right, Randall?
I do.
With confidence?
Yes.
I think you look like you're the only one who is very confident about this one. What federal agency directly manages national grasslands? Our other 5 players are leaking confidence.
I got 2 down.
Okay.
I got 3.
Wow.
I need to scratch one off.
You boys ready?
Sure.
Steve, I think we're waiting on you. Go ahead and reveal your answers. We have Seth saying the National Park Service. Janis says the National Park Service. Randall says the U.S. Forest Service. Cal says the U.S. Forest Service and the USDA.
He says U.S. Fish and Wildlife.
No, sorry.
Service.
U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Okay,
off.
he says the USDA.
He erased the line through it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that wasn't intentional. Sorry. I'm not trying to screw with anybody. I said USDA.
We have Steve saying the National Park Service. He crossed out BLM. We have Brody saying the National Forest Service. He crossed out USDA and Department of the Interior. The correct answer is the U.S. Forest Service. I think we had, 3 of our players?
I think only Randall and
just
Brody.
2 of them. So that's a $200 donation from Athletic Brewing going to NWTF.
Sorry, Turkey Federation.
The Forest Service manages 20 national grasslands, most of which stretch from North Dakota to Texas. These areas make up 4 million acres, which is bigger than Connecticut. National grasslands are managed similar to national forests and are often open to hunting, fishing, grazing, and mineral extraction.
You know what's weird about them, though, is you roll through them and you think you can jump out of the car and shoot an antelope, and you can't in a lot of places. It's like people are running ranches and farms on the grasslands.
A lot of times I get them wrong, and I didn't really get them wrong. You know what I mean?
You just got this one
This
wrong.
one I just got
wrong.
I feel like national grasslands on Onyx are purple. I could be wrong.
I think you're right.
That's what made me do National Park Service.
Questions?
National Parks purple.
8. The topic is cooking. This next great question is via Patrick John Riley. Bon Appetit defines this 6-letter word as, quote, a naturally occurring thickener and stabilizer, helping jams, jellies, and fruit preserves set. A confident room on this one. They've gotten their swagger back. Bon Appetit defines this 6-letter
Randall
word.
over there's got that look.
6-letter word as a naturally occurring thickener and stabilizer, helping jams, jellies, and fruit preserves set.
I can picture the word.
Okay.
Randall can't get it.
As Steve has pointed out, Randall has a blank whiteboard. in front of
Randall
him.
can't get
Are
it.
you picturing it backwards like the Japanese do?
Yes.
Is it sugar,
I'm starting
Randall?
with the jam or jelly and then pulling it apart in my head.
This is question 8
Let's hurry up.
of round 1.
Time to play.
Cal, do you have this one right?
I think so.
6-letter word,
Let's
a
just show 'em.
naturally occurring thickener and stabilizer.
Let's show
helping
'em.
Jams, jellies, and fruit preserves.
Time's
set.
up.
Randall, how you doing down there?
I don't know if I'm going to get it if this keeps up.
Okay.
What keeps up?
Let's just wrap her
This
up. Huh?
These
antagonism.
championship
I gotta get-
rounds, there's got to be some kind of cutoff.
Yeah, let's go.
Wow.
He don't have it. No sense in sitting around waiting now.
No, he's writing something.
They're getting to him.
No.
Let's hustle.
Okay, Randall,
Let's give him 10 seconds of quiet.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
you remember this, Randall, for the next time you're sitting on an answer and Steve isn't.
I thought I was very polite and low key about the last question.
Bon Appetit
don't
defines
got
this 6-letter word as a naturally
Well, now we're
occurring
just sitting
thickener
around for
and
real.
stabilizer,
Now it's like really
helping
dragging.
jams, jellies, and fruit preserves set.
I'm going to flip mine over.
Is everybody ready? Go ahead and reveal your answers. We have Seth and Randall without an answer. Giannis, Cal, Steve, and Brody say pectin. They got it. The correct answer is pectin.
Why does that make me happier than getting one right?
Ain't no archipelago, I'll tell you that.
Was that answer there somewhere, Randall?
was.
Okay. Not
Yeah, on
quick
my
enough,
board.
though. Pectin is
Bazing.
found naturally in fruits and vegetables, but there are also commercial options. When heated with sugar and acid, pectin forms a mesh that traps liquid. And as it cools, it sets and suspends pieces of fruit. To see pectin in action, watch our Wild and Whole video on the MeatEater.com called How to Make Jelly.
However long it took Steve to write that down was as long as I had to think about the question.
I don't understand.
Because you started heckling him afterwards.
Oh, that's true.
True, he says. Question 9. The topic is fishing. Located in the Sierra Nevadas, this is North America's largest alpine lake. We're going to hold off on a scoreboard update until after question 10 in this round.
I
As
think
a
I've been
reminder,
here.
Oh, I wonder what the answer is. Oh.
Do you know the answer?
Yes.
the points will roll over into episodes 2 and 3. We're on question 9. Located in the Sierra Nevadas, this is North America's largest alpine lake. Randall is confident. Our other players are not.
Oh, I've got an answer.
Okay, but are you confident?
Well, yeah, because it's
Okay.
the only thing that's in my brain right now. So
This is question
I know
9.
something that lives in it.
Question 9 of 30 questions.
I was about to write that down before he finished the question.
Wow.
I thought it was
Do you know the answer?
Yeah. I thought it was a question about animals, though.
Do you know the answer, Steve?
I'm going to write down what's in it.
Okay. But as a reminder, we're looking for the name
Water.
of North America's largest alpine lake. Yanni, how we doing?
I have an answer. But,
Randall, would you like to fill this silence with some poking?
I mean, I've spent some time in the Sierra Nevada, Spencer.
Okay.
Hiked,
Panning for gold.
Section of the
As
John
have
Muir
I.
Trail through Kings Canyon,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. There's a
Randall.
fire.
Randall, you're playing with fire.
there's
Okay.
a fire.
No, there was a fire.
Is it a man-made lake?
Yeah, how do I do it, Phil? I just go.
There you go.
No, it's not that.
Steve,
It's this.
Steve.
It's not.
it's
It's more of a
Not having fun.
Is everybody
then
ready?
you trail it out like this.
Located in the Sierra Nevadas.
And it goes
this
on
is
just a
North
little bit too long.
America's largest alpine lake. Is everybody ready? Go ahead and reveal your answers. We have Seth saying
come on. That's it?
Crater Lake. Giannis says Whitney. Randall and Cal say Tahoe. Steve says Golden Trout.
But that's not even right.
Brody says
What I wrote
Tahoe.
not right.
The correct
It's
answer
double wrong.
is Lake Tahoe.
You got
We had
shit.
Brody, Cal,
I've been to that.
Randall. Get that one right.
That's where they kill a guy in there in the end of Godfather 3 or 2.
Vito.
Sure.
Yeah.
Measured
On
by
that
volume, Lake Tahoe is the biggest lake in America that's not a Great Lake. It is 1,645 feet deep, making it second only to Crater Lake as the deepest lake in the country. Lake Tahoe has lake trout, brown trout, rainbow trout, cutthroat trout, kokanee salmon, and a variety of warm water species.
First time I went to Lake Tahoe, this is just a story specifically to embarrass my little sister. We came in from the south, super windy road, real pretty, and the cop puked all over the back seat.
Okay, your sister's the cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
You got her good. Now, here's a correct answer review for our listeners at
Real shit in
home.
the bed over here.
1 was order, 2, marketplace, 3, waning and waxing, 4, archipelago, 5, Oklahoma, 6, the Homestead Act, 7, U.S. Forest Service, 8, Pectin, 9, Lake Tahoe. Here's question 10. The topic is hunting. This province calls itself Land of the Living Skies, with Ducks Unlimited declaring it, quote, the continent's most important breeding area for dabbling ducks. This province calls itself Land of the Living Skies, with Ducks Unlimited declaring it the continent's most important breeding area for dabbling ducks. Seth, quick to answer. Seth, do you have a guess or do you know this one?
I have a guess.
Okay, we're going to get a scoreboard update from Phil after this. See how our players are doing after round 1 of the 3-round trivia championship. This province calls itself Land of the Living Skies, with Ducks Unlimited declaring it the continent's most important breeding area for dabbling ducks. Is everybody ready?
No.
My wife's taking tennis lessons, and she got yelled at for swearing too much. They talked to her about swearing too much at tennis lessons.
That's great.
What are some examples of the words that she uses? What do they start
You're
with?
more of a pickleball player, okay?
What are the words that she swears with start with?
The one that got her was not a terrible one.
Okay.
Yeah, just like a SH,
Mm.
real loud.
Wow.
But she said with most swings.
That'll do it.
You know, lately when people have been dropping the frig on me, have you noticed like it's become a thing in our society and our culture? You haven't noticed this?
I mean, it's always been around.
Depends who you're hanging out with.
What, the real F-bomb?
No, frig.
Frig.
Like a frigate.
I feel like that's been around for
Yeah, frig. We tell our kids, you can't do that. It's the same as doing it.
Okay, yeah. I feel like it's become more of a thing where like people that I know that don't ever use the real F-bomb now walk around very loosely saying frig. And I stop them mid-conversation now and go, you know what? When you say that, I think you're saying
It's a placeholder.
And not frig.
Now,
so please.
Now our kids run around going, gaff. I don't gaff.
The hell does that mean?
Oh,
Give a.
yeah.
It's like, come on.
Good for them.
Yeah,
you know what? I applaud that.
You say the only gaff in this house is something you grab a halibut with.
Does everyone have an answer for the province that calls itself Land of the Living Skies, and it's the continent's most important breeding area for dabbling ducks? Go ahead and reveal your answers.
I put a little joke into mine.
We have Seth,
Brody,
and Janis, and Randall saying Saskatchewan. Cal says Ontario. Steve says Saskatchewan. What's that say? Cat.
Well, I remember Nugget was filming a show there one time. Uncle Ted, he called it Cat Scratchewan, which I thought was hilarious. But I also wrote Saskatchewan.
And Brody crossed out Saskatchewan and wrote down Manitoba. The correct answer is Saskatchewan. think we had 4 of our
That
players.
pains me
get
so
that
much
one
because
right.
Saskatchewan is so badass for waterfowl. I've just never, ever heard anybody say it's the land of the living sky.
That's what they call themselves. Tourism Saskatchewan.
Who's they?
Tourism Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan.
Says
calls
the
himself
land
that.
of the living
I drank
skies
beer with a lot of
moniker.
farmers in Saskatchewan.
Tourism Saskatchewan says the land of the living skies moniker is because of their northern lights, beautiful sunsets, and migrating birds. Some estimates say half of the continent's waterfowl migrate to or through the province. What makes Saskatchewan so duck and goose friendly is its shallow water lakes and grain production. Phil, we just wrapped up round 1. Give us a scoreboard update.
Here's where it stands. We have Seth in last place currently with 5 points. Coming up next is Janis Putelis with 6. Tied up with 7 points apiece are Ryan Callaghan and Stephen Rinella. They have 7.
How embarrassing.
Next up is Brody with 8. And in first place, just 1 point ahead of Brody, Randall Williams has 9 points.
It goes to 30?
30 questions we have, and then
Yeah,
we'll do 3
no
tiebreakers.
reason to panic yet.
If we have a
I'm in a
tiebreaker
minor panic.
at the end of those 30.
There's
Trying to think of
30
sports
questions in
and
just
that
this game?
No. This is the end of episode 1.
Oh,
we're going to
good.
take a break, and then we're going to come back and record episode 2. And as a reminder, the scores will carry over to episodes 2 and 3. And thanks to Athletic
I'm
Brewing.
not saying anything the next game.
Thanks to Athletic Brewing for helping make this
Good
our
luck.
biggest donation in MeatEater trivia history, as
Thanks,
well as
Athletic
sending
Brewing.
$200 to NWTF for that Moneyball question.
I'm going to silent Bob at that whole game, dude.
I'll believe it when I see
Well,
it.
this episode went long. I think we burned up all of our banter. So I bet next episode will go quicker. Join us next
episode
week.
went long, huh?
Join us next week for more MeatEater trivia, the only game show where conservation always wins.
Yeah, Spencer from South Dakota, he's the host. Using those smooth, mellow tones, he lays them questions down. And he likes taking those 2- and 3-year-old bucks. And he's an avid amateur rock hound.